So this is what's great about this HTRC T240 Duo charger. Look at the sun rays. It shows an ending, right? Look at how long it took to charge that battery. It took 5 minutes and 10 seconds to charge this battery up to full. You can see 4.2 across the stinking board, 100%. Now, when do you ever see that? Always unplug your batteries. So I guess in a way, I guess I lied, because I said that the next time you saw this, yeah, next time you see me or next time you see this, it's going to be outside, which is like seconds for you. I kind of lied. I said the next time you saw this was I'd be outside. But what I did want to do is I wanted to install the wing and show you that the wing, you have to go both ways with this wing. So inside the bag here, along with instructions. So it shows you how to go ahead and install it. And you can see 2 screws, which are the upper screws, go this way, and the 2 lower screws go that way. So looking at the wing, you can see that there's, and this is not very easy to install. Plastic itself seems very flexible. Very flexible. Check that out, man. That's going to be great for this cold weather. So the wing does go in the back like this. Does give you 4 screws inside. I believe these are a 1.5. I did have a 1.5 Hobao driver, and yes it is. Positive lock on that screw. So I'm gonna go ahead and install the top ones first, lining up the hole on the backhand side here. Let's see, I'm gonna put it right through. Yeah, see? The little towers are kind of a little in the way. So I'm going to thread that through the carbon fiber. Thread. That is what I'm doing. Threading it through the carbon fiber. All right. These are a tapered screw. It does have a flat taper, but they are tapered screws, so you do have to be careful with over-tightening into the carbon fiber. All right, so I'm going to just put them on loose for now. That one, and then this one. Same thing, right into the hole. Make sure it's straight. These, that tower, actually, I'm going to take that tower off because it's not letting me put the screws in right. So I would actually take that tower off, thread it right in. I'm not going to crank it down all the way either. Save that for last. Then you've got 2 screws right in the back here. 1, 2. You can see that right in there. See right through the hole. Those lined up pretty good. Again, be careful, man. Do not want to strip stuff out. Okay, it felt tight enough. Now just go ahead and just torque these a little bit. This is just going into plastic, so just be careful, man. So what I like about these Hobao long reach drivers is that it almost acts like a, especially this one, it almost acts like a torque stick. So you can feel the length of this metal kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can just feel it. You know when that screw should stop. So there it is with the wing on the back. Put this little piece back in there. I do like that though, man. This one is all hex hardware everywhere. I'm not seeing one Phillips. Granted, I cannot see what's holding the servo horn on, but I'm not seeing one Phillips. All right. Fully charged battery. We are coming up pretty close to that drive shaft. Looks like it's all right. So, just like the last car, this is a miss by them. See that bolt right there? That bolt does not allow the battery to sit flat down. So, unfortunately, what I would have to recommend is see what happens is if you leave that in there, from all the constant slappings that this thing is going to do, there is the potential to puncture this battery, and I don't like that. For now, I am going to go ahead and just run it because I'm not going to drive it like a lunatic, but there's a couple of things that I'm seeing here that I kind of am not liking. That drive shaft, or that universal, is awfully close to the battery. So I will end up taking this bracket off. We'll pull that away and see how close we are to the battery here. That's something I am not liking right off. So I'm going to go ahead and strap that in. So this is the way this would be. I'm going to go ahead and pop this off. So that is a 2. Only took a couple of screws to pop this off. 1, 2 in the back here, which of course are a 1.5. I don't know if that screw mounts into the diff. Find out in a second. Okay, so, okay, that is a separate piece. Go ahead and I gotta take off these. These are very loose. That took nothing to undo that. Same thing with that one, very loose. So these screws you're gonna have to watch out for. Again, same thing, 2 screws, 1.5s at the front where the diff case is. Careful of the antenna. And now this should make it so that I can get this out of the way here. Okay. Okay. That's what I suspected. Check it out. That's hitting the battery. Okay, that's no good. No bueno, man. That is not a good deal. What I will tell you right now is, see what they did is they did do a different configuration. And unfortunately, with the way the battery tray is in there, when the battery slides that way, which it's going to do, when the battery slides that way, look at that. Check that out. I'm going to get my note. I'm going to get my note camera so I can show you what's going on. The reason why I use this is because it allows me to be able to give you a better picture here. So right there, you can see where their set screw is actually striking the battery. Now granted, there may be insulation enough there, but that's not a good deal right there. Now it's going to be moving in a forward direction, so it's going to want to kind of flip the battery out this way. But you're definitely going to have to do something, because when that battery rides like that with the way it is, when that battery hits and it moves, because this is going to move, that is definitely, that screw is already hitting the battery right there. So that's a puncture right there. So I kind of will be careful with this RC, but that's actually not a good thing. So there's like little things, right? So everybody jumped on and I don't want to say everybody, but there were a few creators that jumped on the bandwagon, and a couple of people had said, you know, hey guy, you know, I think you're being a little bit harsh on Rlaarlo. They're a small company, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter whether if they're a small company or not. They still have to get things right. That is not a good scenario, man. So I am going to make sure that this set screw is tightened and in there. And it is. That's a bad deal. Look at that. It's already got a nick on the battery. So just from me doing that, there's already a nick right on the battery right there. Yeah, see, that's a bummer. That is a bummer, man. Yeah, even the drive shaft pin. So the drive shaft pin itself, the drive shaft pin actually sticks out more on one side than it does the other side. The other side is flush, and it's in there. So that is an issue, man. Sorry to say it. For me, that's an issue, because that's literally a fire hazard. Now, granted, maybe these battery packs are kind of like well insulated. I don't know. The thing is that you're not supposed to puncture the battery. And the fact that this car punctures the battery because of the way this battery tray is, that's no good, man. That battery tray would need to be moved. So that needs to be somehow modified. So you can see that they made it so that you can have a little battery in there, but when you look at the underneath part of the chassis, you're going to have to slide that battery as far forward as you can so that it does not contact that drive shaft. Or it's actually, yeah, I say drive shaft, but it's actually, it's striking the cup. So I guess this is also where you would be able to get to your slipper clutch. It is good to see a slipper clutch in there. I feel that that's pretty cool. You can see the pads right there. That is a good idea, but watching out for that battery, man, I don't know. I kind of don't like that. Yeah, look at that. See how close that is? Yeah, I definitely don't like it. That's not good, man. But like what I was saying was like there were some creators out there that, you know, they kind of like, what do they call it? What's the saying? Putting the carriage before the horse, or I think that's what it's called. I think it's putting the cart or putting the carriage before the horse. I was not going to spam out and say, hey guys, buy this RC car. Granted, that's probably something that you could fix. It's probably easy. You could grind that thing down. Yes, I get it. But not everybody's going to see that. You take this RC car out and you're running it. I mean, mine could be the only one. Mine could be the only one with this issue. But what I would say is that if you've got this car, that is something you're going to have to check. Now, how could you fix that? You could take a file and you can grind that down. That is the way you could fix it. There's no need for that set screw to be sticking out past that cup. That would be a very easy fix. However, what I do not agree with is the fact that that entire thing is going to, if shifted correctly or incorrectly, this battery sitting down in there is eventually going to rub. It's eventually going to rub. That's a bad design. That's a bad design. The way to get away from that would literally be you would have to relocate this to here and relocate that bracket to here. There are no provisions underneath for you to do that. The only provision is for you to make it a smaller battery pack. So these two screws right here would have to be moved up equally, the same distance as these ones would also have to be moved up the same distance. And you just have to make sure that you've got room. And I can definitely see that there's plenty of room. Shift that battery forward. Telling you, that's definitely what you're going to want to do. So I'm going to run it anyway. I'm going to run it anyway, man, because this is the way this car is supposed to be, right? So if there's a fire, there's a fire. The other thing that I had noticed with this buggy was the same exact thing as the other one that I had mentioned to Rlaarlo concerning that screw right there. So the center screw for the side guard plate, the little nub here does puncture in through the battery. Just like I was saying, like, you know, on that other side. I'm going to use my notes so you can see it better. Right there you can see that little mounting position. What it does is with the other battery pack, and I allowed it to happen for the other car, is depending upon how you have this battery placed, whether you have it there or not, right where that mounting screw is, and from the chassis slabs, it ends up pushing into the battery, which could become a fire hazard. And they have not addressed that with this model. It's very easy. It's very easy to address that, but the fact that they didn't is kind of concerning. So what you will have to do is you'll have to grind that down, either with like a Dremel or a file or whatever you can get in there to go ahead and grind that nub down. Just remember, you're also going to have to grind down that screw. The only issue with grinding down that screw is it just does kind of give like a weak little area there. It makes that location just a little bit weaker for that attachment point. But is it really a major concern? Not the attachment point, but just the fact that you should grind down that little nub. That's what's important. So let's stop complaining about this thing. Take it outside. Like I said, it's got a kind of like a loud kind of sound to it, but that might be just because I'm just rolling it here. Maybe outside, it'll be a different story. And that's where the problem comes in. So like, they're not going to take all the cars that they already have, all made, all ready to go. If you're on their Facebook site, you can see all the chassis, everything. Everything was all ready to go. They're not going to backtrack and say, oh, we're going to pull this from the market and fix that. They're not going to do that. They're going to sell the units as is. So you will have to know that you have to fix that out of the box. That's why I don't jump on that bandwagon. Could you jump on the bandwagon and get it at a good price? Yes, you can. That would be the only reason why to jump on the bandwagon. So, that being said, there is a link in the description, yada yada, blah blah, whatever. There is a link in the stinking description if you want to go ahead and get this car for yourself. It does seem like, again, it does seem like with a couple of little things that you have to pay attention to, and that's the people that are going to see this video. video. So there are other people that are going to buy this car, slap the battery pack in, rip it up, and potentially that battery's going to get punctured. They're not going to see these videos. They're not going to see those things. They may not pay attention. So that's why I kind of do these videos, and that's also why I said, the other thing I'm noticing too, it might be just the visual impact, but from what I'm seeing here, they're using the same exact size shocks too. The shocks look, actually, no, these ones look beefier. These look like beefier shocks. Wait a minute. Is that a beefier shock? Yeah, see how it looks chunkier, looks beefier? But see all the Phillips hardware? And this is that mount that I was talking about. That's that shock mount that I was talking about that I replaced. This is where the carbon fiber one broke. So it's good that they put it in the box, but yeah, I don't know. The shocks are probably fine. They feel fine. It's just these ones kind of just look beefier. I don't know. Maybe it's just my eyes, man. Kind of looks like the rear shocks are a longer shock than the front. Just by visually, it kind of seems that way. Just by a few millimeters, so yeah, we'll check it out, man. I'm going to stop complaining about this car. I'm just going to rip it up. The battery catches on fire, catches on fire. At least you'll see it. All right, so what I did, very simply, just took my file and filed the very tip of the set screw. So you just have to be careful reinstalling it. It is going to need Loctite. They call it glue, but you do need to put some Loctite back in there so it doesn't slip out. But that's what I ended up doing, is I grinded away the very tip. And you can see it's right down to the threads, but I grinded away the tip to allow the set screw to sink and seat better into the cup. All right, so I do have, I did put Loctite, obviously, on there. Stick that back in. I roll it kind of like to the edge just to get some of the Loctite down into the threads, but this, at least now, hoping, yeah, see now it's nice and smooth. See, now it's not going to grind. It's just a very small miss, but that miss right there is also something because that does stick out. The little pin sticks out from the drive cup. So it's as if that pin isn't seated 100% in the middle of that shaft. On this side, it's meant, you know what, it's as if the pin sticks out a little bit. So, and I know, this is crazy stuff. I feel like I'm being a nitpick, and I'm not being a nitpick. It's just literally, if I was to recommend this car, and then like, you know, they all catch fire, then it's like, and it's not even a recommendation. Let's put it this way. It's not a recommendation because I ain't recommending nothing. You get in trouble when you recommend stuff. Basically just taking this car apart, seeing a couple of issues that are wrong with it. They're just things to know. If you buy this car, which is probably a good car, for what it is, if you treat this thing right, if you take it to a carpet track, treat it right. Don't go using it outside in the backyard track or diamond dust. That's not what this thing is designed for. It's really not. This is more suited probably for a longevity of indoor use on a carpet track. That would probably be the best. Yeah, so I'm going to take it outside to the RC Guy Garage New England Dragway. Just run it back and forth just a couple of times. Just do the tennis thing with it. Just to see how it runs, see if the thing quiets down, and just kind of like get a handle on its general thing. I also have these wheels I'm going to throw on it. I love doing wheels. So these are the wheels that came on this thing. These wheels are kind of getting worn down. These are the buggy wheels that it comes on. And I am also going to do that too. I love doing tire swaps. Oh, the wing is warped. So somehow my wing is warped. Why is that? Isn't that funny? So now just to show you what I was talking about. So I do have the original buggy. This is the apparently 1/14 scale, not 1/16 like I was thinking. What I ended up doing was I ended up taking my little Dremel or whatever I did. I may have even taken a razor blade and I completely removed the screw because in reality, it's really not necessary. I mean, it does allow a little bit of flex there, but it's more for bump. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like it's not really holding in the battery. So I just went ahead and just totally removed the screw and got rid of that nub. So that's how I handled that issue. I'm just kind of surprised to see it on this truck. It's as if, you know, like I said, it's as if, you know, they don't learn or listen or whatever. The possibility is of them maybe adding a piece of foam. That's not going to work, man. Because if you add the piece of foam, what it's going to do is it's going to pitch the battery in closer to the drive shaft. That's not going to work. So, yeah. They're talking about putting foam. The foam's not going to work. Literally what they need to do is take the battery. This is for safety. Take the battery, shift it forward, take that mount and move it to the back, and that's the problem. So I couldn't leave it alone. I know I said I was gonna. So what you can see what I did is I ground down the nub and I also filed down the screw. I did that out of the car. Now I'm just gonna take it out and take it for a quick little rip. So I wanted to check and see if this buggy would fit inside this case. I wanted to see if this thing would fit inside the case. I kind of feel like it's not gonna. You definitely see you got the front section there. Definitely wouldn't fit inside the case with the front bumper on. Looks close, man. It looks really close. All right, here we go. Does it fit? And it does, but does the case close? It does. All right, so it does. Now let's see, will the remote? That would be slick, man. If this fits, it kind of doesn't look like it's gonna. Looks like that's gonna hit. Yeah, and it has to go this way. So it looks like it hits. All right, so the car itself, by itself, the car can fit in the case, which is cool. Doesn't contact, but with the remote you're going to have to keep separate. So you can have the car in the case. You're just going to have to hold the remote. No big deal. All right, let's just take it out. Let's see what this little thing does. Switch it on. Switch on. We're on 2S, just at stock pack. And like I said, I do believe the high-speed gearing is in here just based upon the way the motor mount was set, that it gives you a low-speed gearing. Overall, this car is about an inch longer than the other one. Width-wise, it's like, think like a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch overall. Does get up and go. It's on 2S, man. Thing rips. Remember, the tires are going to get wiped out. These are literally like carpet style tires. That's the way I look at them. They're that pin style. Gotta watch out for drains, man. This is on 2S. It's pretty quick. Needs to be trimmed out just a touch. 2S, that's a ripper. Speed racer. A buggy like this, I gotta tell you, I wouldn't be bashing this thing. You're gonna ruin it. It has a nice enough look to where you should treat it nice. Steering trim. Little off. Now it's going to the, there we go. Going to the left a little bit. Now it's going straight. This on a carpet track would be mint. There is a slight odd delay in the throttle. See that? It almost applied the brake. So it doesn't have like the punch that you would expect. So this has got to be the high speed. This absolutely has to be the high speed gearing. The wing is also a little oddly not straight. Yeah, see, it just did it. It's hard to show it. There it goes. There it goes. All right. Slow speed. See it? See that? See it? It's got that weirdness. Nah, see, it's doing that glitch thing. So on a carpet track, that actually wouldn't work. Because if you were slowing down, let me see. See, in a turn. All right, so see what I'm saying? It almost looks like I'm pausing the camera. See it? It does this weird like thing. The steering servo does not want to stay centered. The tire's a little wet. Does kind of get out of its own way a little bit. Yeah, I wouldn't go bashing this thing. If you want to keep it nice, this is all carbon fiber. This would be more like indoor kind of carpet track stuff. I mean, maybe light off-road use, but just look at the tires. You kind of get the hint.
What the hell was that?
Of what this thing should be driven on.
Did you ever see a movie called Fight Club?
It is a little screamer though. We're only on 2S, man. But that weird thing there with the ESC is kind of bugging me a little bit. It's when you're almost at a stop, it stops. I almost do want to take it out to the back track here. Yeah, see, it's doing that weird stop thing. Yeah, there it goes. See it? It's like a glitch in the Matrix or something. See it? It's full trigger and it stops and then goes. Did you get stuck under my truck? There you go. Yeah, it's got a delay, so I don't think the ESC is big enough for it. It is a fun little, you know, it is a fun little car, but I think the gearing that they've got in it, I'm gonna check the motor temp right now. I think potentially the gearing that might be in this thing might be a little bit too big for what it is, and that's why I'm saying I'm pretty sure that the gearing that it comes with is not high-speed gearing. It's cool out, and the motor does have some temp to it, so it's got a very loud drive fan. I don't have a decibel meter, but that is a very loud drivetrain. Seems like it's kind of holding together. But yeah, don't go bashing this thing, man. You'll destroy it. For the price range that this thing is at, right? So right now the thing is sitting at 150 bucks. So for 150 bucks, it's probably a good buy. It's just a longevity. The issue that I had, or I came across, was trying to source parts from Rlaarlo themselves. They were having some, that 5-letter word, they were having some of those issues. COVID. They had some issues with COVID. There I used it. Now I'm not monetized. So they had issues with COVID, man. So they were having problems with getting parts, but because the platform is very similar to other cars, you can use parts from other cars to, you know, do what you got to do. Get parts. Obviously, I went down the rabbit hole with the Truggy. That was a joke. The upgrades were not upgrades, so don't go thinking you're buying upgrades. And to be honest with you, some of the WL parts, some of the WL Toys parts were better. They were a better quality than this thing. So, yeah, I don't know. 150 bucks, maybe. You make the decision. I ain't gonna make the decision for you. It does seem like it's a pretty cool little truck, or whatever. I keep saying truck, a cool little buggy. It does seem like it's a cool buggy, and if you could get it for that 150 bucks, it might be an all right buy. ESC kind of is a little funky. Stuff like that bugs me because here I am telling you to go ahead and run this on the carpet. That stop start little pause thing that it does while it's in forward motion, that right there would drive me nuts, because that means that the ESC is not fluid. The ESC just doesn't have, I guess, the speed to comprehend where the motor poles are. So anyways, RC Guy Garage, this is the first run out with the Rlaarlo. It was the whole unboxing, it was whatever. A couple of things just to keep in mind. Watch your battery, meaning watch your drive cup that's for your slipper clutch. The slipper clutch seems like it's fine, but mine, the set screw was sticking out of the cup and it was wiping out the battery. It actually took a chunk out of the battery, and I noticed that just by turning that drive cup. So, and also the center pin. So the dog bone pin or drive shaft pin is also sticking out one way than it is further than the other. Are these acceptable? Yeah. When you're talking about, you know, the RC being as inexpensive as it is and at this level or category, would I bash this vehicle? I wouldn't. You're gonna kill it. You will. Have this thing as a carpet track like thing, and then you'd be all right. You'd probably be all right. You'd be in, you know, you wouldn't be in 40-degree weather or 30-degree weather where plastic's breaking. So yeah, run this thing on the carpet. That's all I gotta say. RC Guy Garage out. It's actually been a while since I've adjusted the valve. I'll have to change the oil though. Here's a look at the interior. Just got some issues going on in here. Do have a little bit of a leak, but I know what that's from. It's actually from the vent from the cowl. I did pull out the rear seat. This is all original. So these are original floors. This car has been, this car has been through a lot and has seen a lot. Original trunk pan, original rails, original package tray, well, at least original rear tray where the speakers, you know, were cut out, just because that's what we used to do back in the day. I do have a sound deadener inside. Like I was saying, that side of the carpet was a little wet, but I know why. You can actually see the trail of water right there. It's actually coming from the vent that's in the cowl right here. So there's the vent. It's part of the Astro vent system. Ooh, gotta be careful because it'll suck that thing right in. Gotta fix my horn. Stupid little stuff, you know? that's it. We'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Little mini update on the Camaro.